From the Cronkite Studios in downtown Phoenix, this is Cronkite News.
Arizona law enforcement agencies are in hiring mode, needing to fill hundreds of job openings, why their leaders say the need is critical.
Plus, Tent City's future, it officially closed last week. Tonight, we take a look at the plan to mark a new beginning.
It's a holiday marked with sugar skulls and painting faces. We explore the symbolism and history surrounding the Day of the Dead.
Cronkite News starts now.
Good evening and welcome to Cronkite News on Arizona PBS. I'm Victoria Mendoza.
And I'm Sydney Eisenberg. Thank you for joining us.
Looking for a job in law enforcement? Departments across the state have hundreds of openings to fill. But the departments want to make sure the people hired reflect the communities they will serve. Drew Marine explains what they're doing to encourage groups that may not be as represented as others.
According to the Maricopa County Sheriff's Office, they have more than 300 vacancies, and only 5% of the Arizona Department of Public Safety is made up of women. These statistics are what drive Arizona law enforcement to reach out to younger generations in hopes of getting them interested in this field earlier to fill jobs and prevent gaps in diversity. By diversifying their departments, Arizona law enforcement is building trust in communities.
And when we can catch them at the high school age or maybe a little bit before, that's really where we begin to see our numbers increase and grow.
In doing so, they are filling jobs by reaching out to young students to increase their interest in this field.
You're calling us on your worst day of your life. You have someone who looks like you, who thinks like you, who processes information like you do, and that only serves to make us stronger.
And training them for future responsibilities.
What I did was incorporated a lot of things from the police academy. So you see the kids actually doing physical fitness and jumping fences, dragging dummies, all the things that we require of our officers when they go through the academy.
Not only are they hiring students from in-state, but they are doing whatever they can to bring people of all backgrounds to serve our communities.
We have made it a priority to travel about the country to bring in diverse candidates back to Arizona to provide policing. Right now, Arizona DPS is about 21% diverse. Of the 1,300 plus sworn positions, that's where we sit.
This Friday, the Phoenix Police Department will be hosting a career fair at the Phoenix Convention Center to let the community interact with police officers in hopes of reaching a diverse community to bring into the law force. In the Broadcast Center, Drew Marine, Cronkite News.
And while Phoenix Police is looking to fill out their ranks, Attorney General Mark Brnovich just announced Phoenix Police are not violating the controversial 2010 law known as SB 1070. The law requires officers to question the legal status of people they suspect are here illegally. Republican State Senator John Kavanaugh complained a new police policy illegally restricts when officers can do that. The written opinion from the AG's office rejected Kavanaugh's allegation.
We're going to have a major announcement probably next week on the drug crisis and on the opioid massive problem. And I want to get that absolutely right. This country, and frankly, the world, has a drug problem.
The United States opioid problem could get a renewed push next week. President Donald Trump is expected to declare a national opioid emergency. He's been promising to do something like this since August. Today's comments in the Rose Garden come after a reporter asked him why he hasn't followed through on that promise. Drug treatment advocates have been disappointed that the Trump administration hasn't done something like this sooner. Nearly a week after Tent City was officially closed, officials and community members are already looking ahead, using it to help fight Arizona's opioid epidemic. Madison Connors shows us what's next for the area.
Tent City has been a topic of controversy for a while now, and with Content's jail closing, the time has come to figure out what to do with the space. Tent City Jail is being given a new purpose, and this time it will be used to battle the ongoing opioid epidemic. This idea will allow the Maricopa County Sheriff's Office to expand the Mosaic program by over 50%. Mosaic is a substance abuse program for inmates to learn how to properly cope. And with the space from Tent City available, it will allow the program to grow from 500 participants to over 700. Maricopa County Sheriff Paul Penzone is hoping this will help build confidence in the community.
But we have to enforce the laws in the state to keep everyone safe, and that means investigating crimes that affect our community under the Arizona revised statutes. The other part is, what do we do to invest in our community to show that we are caring and compassionate?
The Mosaic program launched earlier this year and is led by Dr. Don Noggle, who is a mental health director for Correctional Health Services. In a press release shared by the Sheriff's Office, Dr. Noggle says, "Going through Mosaic is a life-changing experience for many participants, and I am thrilled the Sheriff's Office has given us the opportunity to expand a proven evidence-based program to serve an additional 250 people. The vision of the program is to not only help the community with this issue, but also to lower the amount of repeat offenders." The Maricopa County Sheriff's Office is hoping this change will put the infamous tent city to good use. Madison Connor, Cronkite News.
A project to build homes for veterans is now up in the air because they're having difficulties getting federal funding. The Arizona Capital Times is reporting that the state has some money to cover new homes for veterans in Yuma and Flagstaff, but that won't be enough to cover all of it. The rest of the money needs to be covered by the U.S. Department of Veterans Affairs. Veteran state homes are similar to nursing homes, but with one big difference. The majority of the patients have served our country.
Arizona Senator John McCain is being honored tonight with a big award. He's this year's recipient of the National Constitution Center's Liberty Medal. The award will be presented by former Vice President Joe Biden. McCain is being honored for his service to the country. He fought in Vietnam, where he was captured and spent years as a prisoner of war. The six-term senator says he's humbled to join the ranks of past winners. The award ceremony is happening at the Philadelphia Museum. Our team is at the event right now. We'll have a wrap-up on our website, cronkitenews.azpbs.org, and right here tomorrow night at 5 o'clock.
A University of Arizona researcher is trying to change the way rattlesnake bites are treated. They're working on a medicine that can be administered through an EpiPen-like device. The goal is to inject it into snakebite victims in the field. The therapy includes injecting carbon monoxide directly into the venom to block its effects, buying victims valuable time to get to the hospital for anti-venom treatment. Snake venom is harmful to the nervous system and can interfere with the normal function of blood, which can cause excessive bleeding.
A Valley High School teacher is teaching students some valuable skills for their future.
Still ahead on Cronkite News, how they're helping them take flight throughout the valley.
Plus, a changing corporate landscape, how companies are trying to get millennials to join their team.
When a story comes in the morning, we're out the door as fast as we can go.
But it's also great to spend more time in communities and produce projects.
From the borderlands to the cities, the reservations, and even the state capitol, we want to get to the heart of the matter.
When the lights come on in the studio, we know our hard work is about to pay off.
We love what we do here at Cronkite News.
We're proud to tell the stories of our state.
Now more than ever, it's important to have a trusted news source, and that's Cronkite News.
I'm Ted Simons, host and managing editor of Arizona Horizon. Join us each weekday at 5:30 and 10 as we bring you the top newsmakers who impact the state. We cover the stories in depth that shape and affect our local communities, and we take the time to ensure that all voices are equally heard. For more than 30 years, Arizona Horizon has been your voice and your source for what matters most, right here on Arizona PBS.
Officially from 36, and he hooks it in. Arizona State wins. Heaving one deep, and it is caught. Jalen Strong, do you believe
In the city of Glendale, students have the opportunity to get their federal aviation licenses and certificates after completing a career technical education program while still in high school. Cronkite News reporter Nicole Gutierrez is live in Glendale now with a look at how the program works.
Here at the central campus of West Meck, high school students are committing to a 2-year vocational program that can lead them to one of Arizona's most on-demand careers, aviation.
Intense, lots of fun, but they're going to learn a lot.
Tamara Malinsky is an aviation maintenance instructor that has been in the aviation field for over 30 years, and she shares her experience with her students.
They will learn tools. They will learn everything about an airplane that makes an airplane fly, how it flies, why it flies, the physics of it, all about the engine, all about the hydraulic system, about the landing gear, everything about the airplane.
Students in the aviation and avionics program are currently restoring the Hiller Raven helicopter, which was flown by First Lieutenant Frank Luke Jr., who Luke Air Force Base is named after. Once the helicopter is restored, it will be in the First Lieutenant Frank Luke Jr. Memorial Museum.
What it gives the students, it gives them the opportunity to make something that is as close to being airworthy as can possibly be, plus learn all about a helicopter and how it's put together, including the engine and the cyclic and all of the control surfaces.
Hands-on experience that students can apply to many areas within the career.
Whether you're going to end up using it professionally or not, you have a much better understanding of how things work, both on the aircraft and just generally on that kind of manufacturing level.
Melissa Kogan started the program her junior year of high school and is now taking the avionics program as an adult. Due to skills attained on the campus, Kogan has work experience in the field.
I'm actually working over at the Goodyear Airport for Lufthansa aviation training, and they have me working as an A&P right now, but they're looking to get me into the avionics portion as well.
Students apply during their sophomore year, and if accepted to the CTE program, they're required to complete 1,948 hours of coursework. Once graduated, they have the option of returning and taking the avionics program. In Glendale, Nicole Gutierrez, Cronkite News.
Valley Light Rail riders could be in store with some changes. Valley Metro says it's planning to implement new security rules, including a code of conduct. They say the changes are in response to unruly passenger behavior that prompted people to avoid using the mass transit system. The changes would give security guards more flexibility to remove disruptive passengers. The new rules will be put in place over the next 3 months if it's approved this week. Would you work for a company whose values did not match yours? Nkiriko Marinier talked to workers in Phoenix about what impacts their choice when it comes to employment.
A recent report funded by the Case Foundation surveyed millennials from every region in the country and found that more of them are saying no to companies that don't make a conscious effort to help society. In the Valley, companies make sure that potential employees know about its efforts to contribute.
People are your product, and the people are who make you. If we don't have.
Sean Gadwani is a senior auditor at Copperpoint Mutual Insurance Company.
So if they're not doing that and they're not doing a job showing that, then I don't want to be involved.
The 26-year-old says that the company's dedication to serving people played a big part in his accepting this position about 3 months ago. Corporate social responsibility is a company's approach to helping society and is performed in various ways. For example, Copperpoint prides itself on its annual Pack to School project.
So each year we adopt an entire elementary school. The company buys the backpacks. The employees buy all of the supplies, stuff the backpacks, and then we deliver them to the school children.
Editor of Green Living magazine in Scottsdale, Dory Morales says her company fulfills its social responsibility by taking care of the environment.
In the company, all of our furniture that we have has been recycled. All of our electronics are recycled. We try to do as many things digitally as we can.
Morales says the goal is to starve landfills by decreasing waste. She makes sure that everyone she hires has a similar aim.
I'm hiring individuals. I make sure that they align with our mission and vision and that our core values are one. And I ask them what they expect in a company culture because we want to create a culture of people that all have the same values.
Millennial Miranda Van Horn, communications assistant at Copperpoint, possesses the same values as the company she works for, which impacted her decision to work here. However, she says it's not only important to her work life, but her personal life as well.
That's what makes a place a home, is feeling a part of the community.
The report also showed that millennials have a special interest with issues that affect minority and disenfranchised groups. In the broadcast center, in Kiriko Marnia, Cronkite News.
The California wildfires continue to burn, but firefighters are starting to get the upper hand.
Coming up on Cronkite News, we take a look at how the firefight is going as some people are finally able to go home.
We are seeing those chillier temperatures pretty much throughout all of it. However, we're not seeing that here in Arizona. Are we going to be seeing those fall temperatures anytime soon? We'll talk more about that next.
Tickets are now available for the annual Walter Cronkite Award for Excellence in Journalism Luncheon, held Thursday, October 19 at the Sheraton Grand Phoenix. Join media industry and community leaders in honoring award-winning co-anchors and co-managing editors of the PBS NewsHour, Judy Woodruff and the late Gwen Ifill. To learn more or to purchase tickets, call 602-496-0482 or visit cronkite.asu.edu/luncheon.
Officially from 36, and he hooks it in! Arizona State wins! Keeping one deep, and it is caught! Jalen Strong! Do you believe
it? What are you doing?
Possibilities. Your day is filled with them.
Reach up, energy in the fingertips, collapse.
TV play Downton Abbey.
And PBS helps everyone discover theirs. Anytime, anywhere.
Up in the sky, you can see it.
PBS, we're with you for life.
We still have extremely dry conditions out there, very low humidities. There still is the chance that we could have some small fires come out of the fire.
Tens of thousands of people have been allowed to return to their homes as the threat eases from the devastating California wildfires. But officials caution that it could still take days and even weeks to completely control the remaining flames. It has now been over a week since the start of the fires, which have killed more than 40 people and burned more than 217,000 acres across the state. In Sonoma County, more than 80 people are still missing. And some Arizona firefighters are helping out in California. The Scottsdale Fire Department sent a crew to Napa. The city's department tweeted this photo as they headed out last week. And then yesterday they tweeted these close pictures saying the crew is safe after long days helping fight the wildfires in Napa. Drones aren't normally welcome around wildfires because of the potential danger they pose to firefighting planes, but it's different when they're helping the firefighters out. The Prescott Daily Courier is reporting that during a recent fire near Ash Fork, a drone's thermal imaging camera helped locate hotspots. Firefighters say the drone helped them decide where to deploy crews.
It's been a little less than a year since the memorial park honoring the 19 firefighters who died in Yarnell Hill fire opened. But now a new shuttle service is hoping to give more people access to that park. The temporary shuttle is an answer to a small parking lot at the park's trailhead. Arizona's park system says the shuttle will run every half hour from a Yarnell church from 7 a.m. to 5 p.m. until the end of the month. And the movie portraying that deadly wildfire hits theaters on Friday. Only the Brave looks at the lives of the Granite Mountain hotshot crew as they risked everything to stop the fast-moving fire.
It's mid-October and we've still been having warmer temperatures during the day.
But is the heat expected to subside this week? Christiana Fadul has our weather.
Unfortunately, Victoria, our heat is not subsiding this week. Right now in Phoenix, it is 97 degrees, sunny, with a humidity of 12%. Now, looking at the state as a whole, again, we are seeing those warmer temperatures here in the middle of the state and in the southern part of the state, but the cooler temps up north. In Grand Canyon, it's 73 degrees, 91 in Lake Havasu, and then 96 degrees in Yuma. Now, moving closer to home, we are seeing 90s across the board, with 96 in Surprise, 96 in Laveen as well, and then 94 in Coolidge. Although as we go through the rest of our day, we're going to drop a little bit with 83 in Scottsdale and 80 in Goodyear. Now, looking at our weather for the rest of the week, we are going to see the hot temperature continue with a 96 on Thursday with a low of 69. And then for the rest of our 7 days, we're going to drop a little bit on Saturday with 89 and then go back up in temperature with 94 on Monday with a low of 67. For Cronkite Weather, I'm Christiana Fadul.
Halloween may be on everyone's mind, but is the day after getting the recognition it needs?
Coming up on Cronkite News, we take you to a crafting event that's helping shed light on the history and symbolism of the Day of the Dead.
The new weekly show where we tackle the taboo and debate the tough questions with some of the most interesting minds in the game. I'm Carlos Watson. Electrifying conversation. Friday, only on PBS.
Hello from the children of planet Earth.
Exploring, it's the lifeblood of the mission.
Human beings are a curious bunch.
What are we going to see when we get really close?
Wow.
Just because an idea is crazy, it's not necessarily wrong.
We were on our way.
You don't get anywhere until you've tested the limits.
That carries an intensity you can't imagine.
You could hear people just, whoa.
Oh my God, absolutely spectacular.
It's a rush. We ask a lot of our heroes.
We are at a remarkable moment.
We're going farther than any exploration ever has.
I'm Ted Simons, host and managing editor of Arizona Horizon. Join us each weekday at 5:30 and 10 as we bring you the top newsmakers who impact the state. We cover the stories in depth that shape and affect our local communities, and we take the time to ensure that all voices are equally heard. For more than 30 years, Arizona Horizon has been your voice and your source for what matters most, right here on Arizona PBS.
The Mexican holiday Dia de los Muertos isn't until November 1st, but that's not stopping some from starting early.
For the Phoenix Fridas, a Latina women's art collective, they're ready for the holiday. As Fortessa Latifi reports, the group hosted a themed craft night at a local bookstore.
Dia de los Muertos translates to Day of the Dead, but Phoenix Frida's founder, Kathy Cano Murillo, says the holiday is about more than mourning.
And it's a way of embracing and accepting death as part of the journey and not fearing it, and knowing that it's all part of the celebration of life.
Participants decorated candles, sewed felt skulls, and made many shrines for loved ones they wanted to honor. Some took part in the Day of the Dead tradition of face painting. Kendall Gum had her face painted to honor her father, grandfather, and uncle.
I wanted to represent everybody I know who's moved on and is moving on with their journey.
The Phoenix Fridas are named after the famous Mexican artist Frida Kahlo. Monique Sanderson Mata relates to Frida Kahlo's use of art as a coping mechanism.
But I know what it's like to have that struggle, to have to depend on people and to feel helpless. And art is the only thing that got me through that.
Attendees worked side by side, drinking wine and crafting traditional Day of the Dead art.
I'm crafting and drinking. So we just got done making candles, or decorating candles, so I'm on to the next table.
We're having a blast.
Sugar skulls are a staple of Day of the Dead celebrations. Cano Murillo explains the symbolism behind them.
Where the sugar represents the sweetness of life, the skull represents that their body's not here, they're gone.
Some attendees took time to add something personal to the shrine the Fridas set up. Cano Murillo says the Day of the Dead is about finding meaning in loss.
This is about me feeling blessed that I had this person in my life. I had these life lessons to learn from them, and I want to celebrate that on this day. And the idea that their spirit returns for that one time, oh, that's so beautiful.
In Phoenix, for Tessa Latifi, Cronkite News.
Cronkite News is proud to be the news division of Arizona PBS. Here's what's coming up on Arizona Horizon and PBS NewsHour.
On the next Arizona Horizon, why people prefer to go to animal shelters when adopting dogs and cats. And White House correspondent John Decker offers his insight into covering President Trump.
I'm Judy Woodruff on the next NewsHour. We head to New Mexico, a state that's making slow but steady progress against opioid addiction. That's Monday on the PBS NewsHour.
That's it for Cronkite News tonight. Thank you for joining us.
For top Arizona stories anytime, go to cronkitenews.azpbs.org.